Motorsport TV Live, brought to you by Motorsport Tickets, the dedicated motorsport experiences provider.
Hello and welcome to Motorsport TV Live. I'm Rachel Downey, bringing you all the latest motorsport news. Alonso says Verstappen is one step ahead of everyone this year. Matteo Binotto says that Jean Todt links to Ferrari are speculation. And 2022 Formula One calendar in jeopardy with tightening COVID rules. All those stories and more coming up here on Motorsport TV Live. Fernando Alonso believes Max Verstappen deserves to win the F1 Drivers' Championship more than Lewis Hamilton, as he has been one step ahead of every other driver this year. Discussing the 2021 Championship showdown, two-time world champion Alonso said that both Hamilton and Verstappen were at the top of their game at the moment and pushing the limits every race. But Alonso felt that Verstappen was currently on another level to the rest of the F1 grid, citing his Q3 lap in Saudi Arabia prior to hitting the wall at the final corner as proof of that. Mercedes lately, I think, is a little bit better performing, and they won a couple of races now, but Max is driving, in my opinion, one step ahead of all of us, Alonso said. It's fantastic to see how they push each other, but I don't know, this final race is going to be tense for sure for them, and we will see. Well, the drivers have been on track in Abu Dhabi for free practice one, and Max Verstappen has set the pace for Red Bull, finishing ahead of both Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton for Mercedes. As the Formula One field got its first taste of the reprofiled Yas Marina circuit, the Dutchman was lapping almost 0.2 of a second out in front. Most of the field headed out on soft tyres for the 1 hour session, with Verstappen managing to set the early pace during the first runs for Red Bull, despite reporting an issue with its steering wheel. Verstappen told Red Bull that his steering was right hand down and really annoying to drive, yet he still managed to outpace Hamilton during the opening runs. Earlier on today, I spoke with Juan Pablo Montoya and started off by asking him this could be the most important race of Hamilton's life.
I think this season has been for a long time. I think at the beginning he had a lot of that. The last few years, I think Mercedes had such a big advantage that, he every time, apart from when Nico beat him, every time they got to the last race, he already had the championship wrapped up. And this year, in a way, he's been the underdog, and it's been a lot of fun to watch, to be honest with you. I think Max has done an amazing job with that car too. I think the Red Bull's been very strong. I don't know. The only thing I'm not a big fan of it is all the talk and excuses, and it's like I think there's too much. I don't know if it's the press or the people just talking too much. It's like, they changed the circuit, they changed this, they're helping Mercedes and they're helping Red Bull and this and that. And at the end of the day, we want to see them race, and we want to see actually. I think a lot of people are complaining, and they all want to see a clean race.
Yeah. I totally agree, and exactly what Hamilton said as well earlier on. And sticking with Hamilton, what is the significance of his of a possible 8 world titles?
Oh, think about it. It's huge. It's huge. And, I know Vettel came out and said Schumacher was Schumacher, but in my time, Senna was Senna. And, 15 years from now, Lewis is going to be Lewis, and he's done an amazing job. Is he been in the right place at the right time? Yes, but he's used it well, and I think this year he's shown why he's won so much. I think he's bringing that A game every day, and it's been, honestly, for me personally, it's been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I totally agree. You touched on when you were racing, you raced against Jos Verstappen. What was he like as a racer, and how much of an impact do you think he's had on Max's career?
Well, probably the only time I ran close with Jos is when he ran over me in Brazil.
Nice guy then.
Yeah, really nice guy. Thank you. I think it's different. Honestly, I think the pressure is getting to Max, and it's understandable. Uh, and I think they're always been in the attitude it's either me or nobody, and I think that's why he had so much success in all the series and everything he's done. The way everything they prepared, it's do or die, and it's great. But when you go in against a guy like Lewis, it's like when we went against Michael. We do or die, but he's done it and he knows what it takes. And to beat him, you either gotta have a lot quicker car or you gotta figure out how to, run as smart as he is, because Lewis has done few things this year that are unbelievable. Like Max is taking it to the next level, in my opinion, of like, oh, I'm gonna miss the braking zone here. Like in Brazil when he outbraked himself and ran wide, I think he expected Lewis to turn and they were gonna take each other out, and Lewis just waited for him. Like Lewis is always expecting for Max to do that, and he's always prepared. But you never know. I think Max is still got a great shot at it. It's a good track for Red Bull also, and Mercedes had a lot of success. So I think for the show in general, it's unbelievable. I think it's bringing so many people to watch the sport that they normally just pay barely any attention. And I think the ratings and everything for that last race is going to be unbelievable. So hopefully we get to watch a really cool race.
Yeah, I totally agree. I know there was my friend's daughter at school talking about who they think's going to win. That wouldn't have happened 5 years ago. We've got a whole new generation coming through, excited about Formula One. I checked as you do, the odds against who the public think and the bookies are going to win this weekend, and Hamilton's actually odds-on favourite. Would you agree with that, or is it too close to call?
I think the momentum is on Lewis's side, but Max is a guy that the momentum doesn't really matter. It's a guy that lives on the moment. And I think what he did in qualifying in the last race, he shows that he's all or nothing kind of guy. I was watching F1 practice earlier today, and they were talking, they should have told him he was only a 10th. And then they said, we told him. And he had, 3.5 tenth advantage with one corner to go and still throw it off. So that's where I think Lewis, if it's a tight race, my money would be on Lewis too. You know what I mean? In a way, everybody wants to see somebody beat Lewis. You know what I mean? In a way, I'm really divided because I want them to beat him. But I gotta say, he's done such an amazing job this year that, I'm kind of rooting for him too.
Juan Pablo Montoya there, talking to me earlier today. Now don't go anywhere, with lots more news in the world of motorsport coming up here on Motorsport TV Live. There's plenty of racing this weekend, and for fans of virtual racing, you'll be able to watch the NYMEX 3 Hour as it takes to the Nürburgring. That's all on Saturday morning, and it's live on Motorsport TV. More from the world of Formula One now, and Ferrari chief Matteo Binotto says reports linking outgoing FIA president Jean Todt with a return to the team are just speculation. Earlier this week, the Italian press reported that Todt could return to the Maranello squad as a super consultant, a position similar to the role the late Niki Lauda had at Mercedes in recent years. The report said Todt, who has been FIA president since 2009, had already held discussions with Ferrari chairman John Elkann about possible return. However, Binotto insisted the rumours were just that and denied there had been any talks with Todt, whilst also admitting that he would be honoured to work with Todt again in the future. Meanwhile, Formula One sporting director Steve Nielsen has admitted that he's worried about the potential impact of the return of tighter COVID-19 restrictions worldwide on next year's schedule. F1 was the first international sport to return under the shadow of coronavirus and has successfully run 22 events this year. However, the emergence of the Omicron variant in recent weeks has led to countries reinstigating some restrictions. While no F1 hosting nations are currently on the UK red list, that could change as the situation develops. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit worried. I am, Nielsen said when asked by motorsport.com if he had concerns about the return of restrictions. Since the beginning, this thing has risen up and fallen away, and we've had to tiptoe around those changing infection rates and try and fit it with our calendar. I'm pretty certain we can deliver the calendar we have, but we will monitor it and we will react if we have to. And finally, Paul Ricard bosses want to wait and see what impact Formula One's new 2022 car rules have on racing before deciding on the next steps regarding track changes. The current home of the French Grand Prix had considered making several tweaks to its layout in a bid to improve overtaking opportunities, but those plans were put on hold during the COVID-19 pandemic. The French Grand Prix heads to 2022 for the final year of its current contract, and French Grand Prix boss Eric Boullier said that this year's event has shown that the venue can deliver when the grid is close, and it would make no sense to rush track tweaks without knowing what overtaking will be like from 2022. That's all for now. I'm Rachel Downey. Join us again here on Motorsport TV Live for all of the latest news from the world of motorsport. Bye for now.